What is up, everyone? Welcome back. I know we have not had a ton of videos recently on the Cayman. Now, before we move on anything with the rest of the bumper, since it is now firmly mounted, with this being fiberglass, it now needs to be mounted on the bottom because we have a little bit of flex. Now, when fiberglass flexes, that is when you start to get cracked. Contrary to popular belief, you want to mount your fiberglass bumpers firmly onto your car so that there's no stress points and it doesn't create any crack. What I had intended to do originally was create an entire flat underbelly pan. Since it has a flat belly tray already from the factory, but it was plastic, I was gonna do an aluminum metal one that'd be functional. Plans have changed a little bit. Due to the world and the circumstances that we live in, metal is obnoxiously expensive, and more specifically, aluminum is ridiculously expensive. For one sheet that I was gonna need for one of these bumpers, it was gonna be $792 for 6061 T6 aluminum sheet, and I needed 2 of those for just the bumpers, and then I would have needed another separate sheet to complete the whole body under tray. Plans have changed a little bit, and I have 4 separate sheets which make up 2 full-size sheets. Now you may be wondering why I bought 4 sheets instead of 2 full-size sheets. For whatever reason, the sheets cut in this size total for these 4 sheets cost me $150, as opposed to just buying 2 full sheets the same exact size and dimensions for $790 each. I don't understand. So today we're gonna be working on making the flat underbelly trays for just the front bumper and the rear bumper for right now, and connecting it with the OEM plastic one. Not ideal. It will get the job done for the time being, especially because it will also create mounting points for the bumper as well. Did a lot of talking. Let's jack this thing up and let's build these underbelly pans. No, the car is not jacked up high enough. I made the 4 holes underneath the car. I made these 2 little brackets from what I've already had around. I put rib nuts in them back here, as you can see, and I'm going to use those to chassis mount it into the car right here, and then obviously we'll have some in the bumper. I made this template where I transferred the holes from the bottom onto this, and now I have both of these 2 sheets lined up level in the middle, and what I was gonna do was put this cardboard piece perfectly in the middle of these 2, or like in the center of these bolt holes, and then drill those out, and then when I put the rib nuts in here, I'd be able to at least bolt the bottom side on the back. Alright, so it's like low-key been 2.5 hours since I last talked to you guys. I thought that I would have had some sheets mounted up for you guys, but I do not. I've spent a lot of time making this template right here. This is a left and right separate template so that I can make this perfectly seamed in the middle. The reason that it got so confusing for me was because I need these to obviously go the whole length of the bumper. Because it's separated, I didn't want one side to be shorter and smaller than the other, so I made it dead center in the middle. And then it turns out that the measurements that I had done initially weren't going to work if I put that dead center in the middle. So I had to make a whole new template. But it's trimmed up, as you guys can see. The actual under tray will not stick out this far. This is just because, just for the cardboard's sake, I'm going to cut it about 1/4 of an inch shorter, so you won't even be able to tell from the outside. I've been going back and forth whether or not I want to stick out a little lip or not. Comment down below. what you guys think, if you guys think it'll be cool. I don't think it'll be too difficult after the fact to make a little lip extension that's modular, so if it hits the ground I can pull it off and then make a new one and not have it damage the whole under tray belly, which would be nice and smarter, to be honest, just longevity wise and money wise, not having to spend money on a whole under tray every time just the front lip gets ruined. Obviously it's dark, which you could assume it's a little late. I got off of work around 6 o'clock. It's now 10. I think it's a little late for me to be drilling into this aluminum and cutting because it's going to make a lot of noise. I'm pretty sure people will not be very happy with me. I'm going to drop this thing down and we will pick up on Thursday. Today's Tuesday. Wednesday is the days that we film the podcast. If you guys haven't caught up with the podcast, check it out, bro. Links will be in the description or click in this right hand corner. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Just like that, it's 2 days later. Last place that we left off, we have this template right here, and I took off the other template, and I've marked all my holes and my cut lines. We're gonna work on the left side of the car right now. What I'm gonna do is trim out this little window. I'm gonna drill out these holes. We're gonna try and get this thing mounted. And then once we get this thing mounted, obviously there'll be a whole bunch of excess that we can then trace the bumper and cut off all the excess. Right now, we got to make a bunch of loud noises. Hopefully nobody gets too mad. Just like that, we have the first half mounted. Obviously, we have a ton of overhang. This thing is fully mounted, chassis mounted, and mounted underneath right here. And you see this has a little bit of flex right now because it's not actually fully bolted in like tight. Now what we need to do is take that template for the right side and put it on here. Do the same thing. After we get everything all aligned, I want that seam in the middle right here to be perfect, like no gap. So before I even start cutting this, I want to mount this piece and make sure that that seam in the middle is perfect, because if I have to slot any of these holes, if I have to slot any of the holes to make sure that they line up perfectly, I want to be able to do that and not have already pre-trimmed it so that it matches. Because when this is cut, I want both of the radiuses to be even. I want that center line to be even. So I want to make all the adjustments before I trim this excess. It's really unnecessary, but it's what I want to do. The splitter is looking crazy. This is not at all what it's gonna look like, but it's pretty nuts, is it not? I need to get a thumbnail. This is what I'm gonna get for the thumbnail. This is freaking insane. As you guys can see, when I hold this together, this is lined up perfectly down the center. It's exactly what I want. So now I just gotta get this thing basically traced right here so I can trim it up. It's not gonna have any overhang. I do have to oval some of these holes. Just slightly off on one of them, which is okay. Sick. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. This will work out relatively well. I'm gonna get this thing traced out, get the rest of these bolt holes figured out. Let's get this thing freaking mounted. Just like that, here are our pieces. Ready to test fit, bolt up under the car and see how these things fit. After a decent amount of work, it is now 9:30. I've been here since around 6:15, 6:30-ish. So this has been about a 3-hour project. And look at this thing is on here. Obviously we have to clean up some of the edges. It's a little bit late now to be grinding this down and sanding it down. But for the most part, the shape is there. As you guys can see, it comes right along the edge like this. We have it mounted by a bracket right there, bracket back here. Yeah, chassis mounts it. This bolt right here, chassis mounts it back here. Chassis mounts that side and the back over there. It looks super clean as we're using all of this really nice hardware pretty much everywhere. These parts that bolt into the bumper right here are what stabilize the bumper, so it bolts into the bumper so the bumper can no longer move. The purpose that this serves is as an under tray, a solid under tray, because the car naturally has an under tray like this. It's not metal, it's plastic, but we remade it. It also mounts the bumper to this solid metal, so the bumper is not getting any flex, no movement. So if this ever hits the ground, hits the corner, it's not going to flex the bumper in a way where we can get cracks in the fiberglass. Also, when we're just driving normally, there's not going to be air resistance on this thing that's going to bend it in some crazy sort of way, because it's now firm. This bumper is not moving whatsoever, which is what you want. The biggest win that took so freaking long, as you guys can see, this is perfect. Edge to edge right here. Obviously you have a little they're not gaps. This is perfectly aligned with each other all the way back, and you can see back here perfectly aligned, square and even, which is a huge win. This is what I was going for. I wanted this to be absolutely even and as symmetrical as possible, and I think I've accomplished that. This thing is super nice. I'm stoked. So we just gotta finalize the rest of the mounting positions in the bumper. I don't want to use a bolt where I have to screw it on the top and on the bottom. I have a specific nutsert that can be fiberglassed into this splitter, which I do have at home at my parents' house. I'll have to go get those. But essentially it's a riv nut like this, because you can't squeeze these types of riv nuts into fiberglass because the fiberglass isn't strong enough. These will pull right through and crack it. There is a type of nutsert that you can fiberglass into, obviously into the splitter itself. So that's what we're gonna do. I already have those. I just need to bring them over here. But that's a freaking win. This thing has taken so long. Now that the front is done, we gotta move to the rear. But again, it is 9:30. I'm pretty sure people would not appreciate me grinding super loud and moving on to the rear. So hopefully we can finish that up today. Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. The show is on Saturday. And obviously I'm at a standstill. I'm just gonna clean up and be done for the night. All right, a very exciting moment. Front flares are on, and this thing is like put together enough to get to the show build. We've made a lot of progress. I know it doesn't even look like it. You guys have seen this kit basically in this position forever, and it is literally taking all of my energy to make this thing 100% perfectly right, and not just wrap it right away just because I want to jump the gun and see it all one color. Taking the time to make this thing absolutely perfect to compete at SEMA is going to be 10 out of 10 worth it, the amount of time this entire year that it's taken me to put on this kit, because if we place at all whatsoever, this is going to be a big deal for us, at least for me. You know, it's going to be huge for me. I know there's a lot of other like YouTube people out here who have been to SEMA time and time again, but you know, a regular ass person like myself coming out here to come do something to even compete at that level is, I feel like, has the opportunity to put me on the map. And I hope this build does it. I really am putting my time and effort into this thing, and I hope people look at this and they're like, damn, this thing came out good. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you kept up with this build, if you kept supporting me throughout this entirety of this thing, even though it's taken me forever, shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you guys are new here, I appreciate you as well. If you like this video, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this car, what else I should do, what you guys think of the craftsmanship. If it's shit, like, tell me. I want to know. I want to be able to fix this and get better. Anything that you guys see that I could do better, let me know. With that, again, appreciate everybody out here watching. Catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.